Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
An act of delaying or interrupting the continuity. There was a gap in his account. An open or empty space in or between things. The explosion made a gap in the wall. A narrow opening. A conspicuous disparity or difference as between two figures. Gap between income and outgo. A pass between mountain peaks. Make an opening or gap in. A difference, especially an unfortunate difference, between two opinions or two views or two situations. Tennis. A score consisting of winning a game when your opponent was serving. He was up 2 breaks in the second set. Breaking of hard tissue such as bone. The break seems to have been caused by a fall. Enter someone's virtual or real property in an unauthorized manner, usually with the intent to steal or commit a violent act. Be released or become known of news. Fail to agree with, be in violation of, as of rules or patterns. An act of delaying or interrupting the continuity. It was presented without commercial breaks. Lessen in force or effect. Break a fall. An escape from jail. The breakout was carefully planned. Interrupt a continued activity. Force out or release suddenly and often violently something pent up. Break into tears. Any frame in which a bowler fails to make a strike or spare. The break in the 8th frame cost him the match. Go to pieces. Ruin completely. Act in disregard of laws, rules, contracts, or promises. Break a law. Become fractured. Break or crack on the surface only. Do a break dance. Kids were break dancing at the street corner. Prevent completion. Break off the negotiations. Become separated into pieces or fragments. Make known to the public information that was previously known only to a few people or that was meant to be kept a secret. Terminate. Break a lucky streak. Surpass in excellence. Break a record. Discontinue an association or relation. Go different ways. The act of breaking something. The breakage was unavoidable. Happen. Break down, literally or metaphorically. A pause from doing something, as work. We took a 10-minute break. Stop operating or functioning. Fracture a bone of. Reduce to bankruptcy. My daughter's fancy wedding is going to break me. Assign to a lower position. Reduce in rank. Geology. A crack in the Earth's crust resulting from the displacement of one side with respect to the other. Break a piece from a whole. Break a branch from a tree. Make submissive, obedient, or useful. The horse was tough to break. A time interval during which there is a temporary cessation of something. Move away or escape suddenly. Nobody can break out. This prison is high security. A personal or social separation, as between opposing factions. They hoped to avoid a break in relations. Some abrupt occurrence that interrupts an ongoing activity. There was a break in the action when a player was hurt. Destroy the completeness of a set of related items. The book dealer would not break the set. Cease an action temporarily. Let's break for lunch. An unexpected piece of good luck. He finally got his big break. An abrupt change in the tone or register of the voice, as at puberty or due to emotion. Then there was a break in her voice. A sudden dash. He made a break for the open door. Be broken in. If the new teacher won't break, we'll add some stress. Become punctured or penetrated. Cause the failure or ruin of. This play will either make or break the playwright. Cause to give up a habit. Change direction suddenly. Change suddenly from one tone quality or register to another. Come forth or begin from a state of latency. Come into being. Come to an end. Crack. Of the male voice in puberty. His voice is breaking, he should no longer sing in the choir. Curl over and fall apart in surf or foam, of waves. Destroy the integrity of, usually by force, cause to separate into pieces or fragments. Diminish or discontinue abruptly. Emerge from the surface of a body of water. Exchange for smaller units of money. I had to break a $100 bill just to buy the candy. Fall sharply. Find a flaw in. Break an alibi. Find the solution or key to. Break the code. Give up. Break cigarette smoking. Happen or take place. Things have been breaking pretty well for us in the past few months. Interrupt the flow of current in. Break a circuit. Invalidate by judicial action. Make a rupture in the ranks of the enemy or one's own by quitting or fleeing. Make the opening shot that scatters the balls. Pierce or penetrate. Render inoperable or ineffective. Scatter or part. Separate from a clinch, in boxing. The occurrence of breaking. The break in the dam threatened the valley. The opening shot that scatters the balls in billiards or pool. Undergo breaking. Vary or interrupt a uniformity or continuity. Weaken or destroy in spirit or body. An act of delaying or interrupting the continuity. A disorderly outburst or tumult. An event that results in a displacement or discontinuity. The act of causing disorder. An act of delaying or interrupting the continuity. A time interval during which there is a temporary cessation of something. Some abrupt occurrence that interrupts an ongoing activity. The telephone as an annoying interruption. An open or empty space in or between things. There was a small opening between the trees. A recognized sequence of moves at the beginning of a game of chess. He memorized all the important chess openings. An aperture or hole that opens into a bodily cavity. A possible alternative. An entrance equipped with a hatch, especially a passageway between decks of a ship. The first of a series of actions. The first performance, as of a theatrical production. The opening received good critical reviews. A ceremony accompanying the start of some enterprise. A vacant or unobstructed space that is man-made. They left a small opening for the cat at the bottom of the door. Becoming open or being made open. The opening of his arms was the sign I was waiting for. First or beginning. The memorable opening bars of Beethoven's Fifth. Opportunity especially for employment or promotion. There is an opening in the sales department. The act of opening something. The ray of light revealed his cautious opening of the door. The initial part of the introduction. The opening established the basic theme. A purified and potent form of cocaine that is smoked rather than snorted, highly addictive. A long narrow opening. A usually brief attempt. He took a crack at it. A narrow opening. He opened the window a crack. Become fractured. Break or crack on the surface only. The glass cracked when it was heated. Suffer a nervous breakdown. A chance to do something. Break suddenly and abruptly, as under tension. Witty remark. Pass through, a barrier. Registrations cracked through the 30,000 mark in the county. Make a sharp sound. Of the highest quality. A crack shot. A long narrow depression in a surface. A sudden sharp noise. The crack of a whip. The act of cracking something. A blemish resulting from a break without complete separation of the parts. There was a crack in the mirror. Break into simpler molecules by means of heat. The petroleum cracked. Break partially but keep its integrity. The glass cracked. Cause to become cracked. Heat and light cracked the back of the leather chair. Gain unauthorized access computers with malicious intentions. She cracked my password. Hit forcefully. Deal a hard blow, making a cracking noise. The teacher cracked him across the face with a ruler. Make a very sharp explosive sound. His gun cracked. Reduce petroleum to a simpler compound by cracking. Tell spontaneously. Crack a joke. Fully extended in width. Outspread wings. Strew or distribute over an area. He spread fertilizer over the lawn. Distributed or spread over a considerable extent. 11 million Jews are spread throughout Europe. Distribute or disperse widely. The invaders spread their language all over the country. Process or result of distributing or extending over a wide expanse of space. Become distributed or widespread. The infection spread. Act of extending over a wider scope or expanse of space or time. A tasty mixture to be spread on bread or crackers are used in preparing other dishes. Decorative cover for a bed. Cause to become widely known. Spread information. A conspicuous disparity or difference as between two figures. The spread between lending and borrowing costs. Farm consisting of a large tract of land along with facilities needed to raise livestock, especially cattle. Spread out or open from a closed or folded state. Spread your arms. Spread across or over. A big oil spot spread across the water. Two facing pages of a book or other publication. Become widely known and passed on. The rumor spread. A haphazard distribution in all directions. A meal that is well prepared and greatly enjoyed. They put out quite a spread. Move outward. Cover by spreading something over. Spread the bread with cheese. Prepared or arranged for a meal, especially having food set out. A table spread with food. The expansion of a person's girth, especially at middle age. She exercised to avoid that middle-aged spread. Distribute over a surface in a layer. Spread cheese on a piece of bread. A pass between mountain peaks. Act in disregard of laws, rules, contracts, or promises. A personal or social separation, as between opposing factions. Make an opening or gap in. A failure to perform some promised act or obligation. An opening, especially a gap in a dike or fortification. The act of delaying. Inactivity resulting in something being put off until a later time. Robbery at gunpoint. Cause to be slowed down or delayed. Traffic was delayed by the bad weather. Time during which some action is awaited. Instant replay caused too long a delay. Slow the growth or development of. The act of delaying. Inactivity resulting in something being put off until a later time. Stop or halt. Act later than planned, scheduled, or required. Don't delay your application to graduate school or else it won't be considered. Printing. A block of type without a raised letter, used for spacing between words or sentences. The unlimited expanse in which everything is located. They tested his ability to locate objects in space. The interval between two times. It all happened in the space of 10 minutes. Any location outside the Earth's atmosphere. The astronauts walked in outer space without a tether. A blank character used to separate successive words in writing or printing. He said the space is the most important character in the alphabet. A blank area. Write your name in the space provided. An area reserved for some particular purpose. The laboratory's floor space. An empty area, usually bounded in some way between things. The architect left space in front of the building. One of the areas between or below or above the lines of a musical staff. The spaces are the notes face. Place at intervals. Inequality or difference in some respect. A small cut. The location in a range of mountains of a geological formation that is lower than the surrounding peaks. A V-shaped indentation. Mandibular notch. A V-shaped or U-shaped indentation carved or scratched into a surface. There were 4 notches in the handle of his revolver. Cut or make a notch into. Notch the rope. Notch a surface to record something. The location in a range of mountains of a geological formation that is lower than the surrounding peaks. Move past. A black limousine passed by when she looked out the window. Eliminate from the body. Grant authorization or clearance for. A usually brief attempt. Success in satisfying a test or requirement. His future depended on his passing that test. Come to pass. Of advancing the ball by throwing it. A team with a good passing attack. Pass from physical life and lose all bodily attributes and functions necessary to sustain life. A document indicating permission to do something without restrictions. The media representatives had special passes. Cuz to pass. She passed around the plates. Be superior or better than some standard. Transmit information. Pass along the good news. Go unchallenged. Be approved. Pass over, across, or through. Place into the hands or custody of. Sports. The act of throwing the ball to another member of your team. The pass was fumbled. Pass into a specified state or condition. Make laws, bills, etc. or bring into effect by legislation. They passed the amendment. A difficult juncture. A pretty pass. Stretch out over a distance, space, time, or scope. Run or extend between 2 points or beyond a certain point. A permit to enter or leave a military installation. He had to show his pass in order to get out. Pass by. A bad or difficult situation or state of affairs. Travel past. The sports car passed all the trucks. Disappear gradually. The pain eventually passed off. American football. A play that involves one player throwing the ball to a teammate. The coach sent in a passing play on 3rd and long. Baseball. An advance to first base by a batter who receives 4 balls. The location in a range of mountains of a geological formation that is lower than the surrounding peaks. We got through the pass before it started to snow. An automatic advance to the next round in a tournament without playing an opponent. Go successfully through a test or a selection process. She passed the New Jersey bar exam and can practice law now. Be inherited by. Use up a period of time in a specific way. Any authorization to pass or go somewhere. The pass to visit had a strict time limit. Accept or judge as acceptable. The teacher passed the student although he was weak. A complimentary ticket. The star got passes for his family. A flight or run by an aircraft over a target. The plane turned to make a second pass. Allow to go without comment or censure. The insult passed as if unnoticed. Go across or through. We passed the point where the police car had parked. Military, a written leave of absence. He had a pass for 3 days. One complete cycle of operations, as by a computer. It was not possible to complete the computation in a single pass. Throw a ball to another player. Smith passed. Transfer to another, of rights or property. Our house passed under his official control. Of textures, full of small openings or gaps. An open texture. Not defended or capable of being defended. An open city. Possibly accepting or permitting. Open to interpretation. With no protection or shield. Open to the weather. Not sealed or having been unsealed. The letter was already open. Openly straightforward and direct without reserve or secretiveness. An open and trusting nature. Affording free passage or view. Open waters. Start to operate or function or cause to start operating or functioning. Open a business. A clear or unobstructed space or expanse of land or water. Finally broke out of the forest into the open. Ready or willing to receive favorably. Used of mouth or eyes. Keep your eyes open. Spread out or open from a closed or folded state. Open the map. Become available. An opportunity opened up. Afford access to. The door opens to the patio. Open and observable, not secret or hidden. Open ballots. Where the air is unconfined. The concert was held in the open air. Affording unobstructed entrance and exit, not shut or closed. An open door. Become open. The door opened. Information that has become public. All the reports were out in the open. Make available. This opens up new possibilities. Cause to open or to become open. Mary opened the car door. Not brought to a conclusion, subject to further thought. An open question. Accessible to all. Open season. Affording free passage or access. Open drains. A tournament in which both professionals and amateurs may play. Begin or set in action, of meetings, speeches, recitals, etc. He opened the meeting with a long speech. Display the contents of a file or start an application as on a computer. Having no protecting cover or enclosure. An open boat. Make the opening move. Kasparov opened with a standard opening. Not having been filled. The job is still open. Not requiring union membership. An open shop employs non-union workers. Open to or in view of all. An open protest. Ready for business. The stores are open. Set theory, of an interval that contains neither of its endpoints. Without undue constriction as from e.g. tenseness or inhibition. The clarity and resonance of an open tone. Have an opening or passage or outlet. The bedrooms open into the hall. start to operate or function or cause to start operating or functioning. Become available. Become open. Make available. Cause to open or to become open. Open up an area or prepare a way. Talk freely and without inhibition. A variation that deviates from the standard or norm. The number that remains after subtraction. The number that when added to the subtrahend gives the minuend. A disagreement or argument about something important. There were irreconcilable differences. A significant change. The difference in her is amazing. The quality of being unlike or dissimilar. There are many differences between jazz and rock. A disagreement or argument about something important. Coming into conflict with. Take exception to. A disagreement or argument about something important. He had a dispute with his wife. Have a disagreement over something. Go against, as of rules and laws. This behavior conflicts with our rules. An open clash between two opposing groups, or individuals. The harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. A hostile meeting of opposing military forces in the course of a war. A disagreement or argument about something important. The familiar conflict between Republicans and Democrats. An incompatibility of dates or events. He noticed a conflict in the dates of the two meetings. A state of opposition between persons or ideas or interests. His conflict of interest made him ineligible for the post. Be in conflict. The two proposals conflict. Opposition between two simultaneous but incompatible feelings. He was immobilized by conflict and indecision. Opposition in a work of drama or fiction between characters or forces, especially an opposition that motivates the development of the plot. This form of conflict is essential to man's writing. The action of interjecting or interposing an action or remark that interrupts. An abrupt emphatic exclamation expressing emotion. Shouting to interrupt a speech with which you disagree. An instance of sudden interruption. Film. A still picture that is introduced and that interrupts the action of a film. Broadcasting. A local announcement inserted into a network program. Shouting to interrupt a speech with which you disagree. Film. A still picture that is introduced and that interrupts the action of a film. Insert casually. Broadcasting. A local announcement inserted into a network program. An artifact that is inserted or is to be inserted. Put or introduce into something. Insert a picture into the text. Fit snugly into. Insert your ticket into the slot. Place, fit, or thrust something into another thing. A folded section placed between the leaves of another publication. An instance of sudden interruption. The action of interjecting or interposing an action or remark that interrupts. Parliament. A parliamentary procedure of demanding that a government official explain some act or policy. The action of interjecting or interposing an action or remark that interrupts. A message, spoken or written, that is introduced or inserted. With the help of his friend's interpolations, his story was eventually told. Mathematics. Calculation of the value of a function between the values already known.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.